Hey, everybody. Glad to have you on board today. We've got a really exciting webinar that we're going to be doing. And for those of you that want to rank, you should be really excited about this. But first of all, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. So if you can hear me and you're excited about learning how to rank all sorts of great properties inside of Google and get to page one, well, then give me a 1 in the chat box so that we can make sure that you can indeed hear me. And I'm seeing the ones pop in already. And I see we've got Ron, Ontario. Nice. People was telling me where they are. And I apologize if I don't read everything because I don't have my reading glasses and I've very recently gone completely blind without them. And it's kind of strange, but I do see that there are ones coming through. So I will try to read as best I can there. So I see, yep, everybody's getting in there. So I see Robin and I see Seth and Roger and James and Will and let's see, looks like Rafael and Gene. Gene, welcome. Hey, we just interviewed Gene the other day. Ron and Thomas and Ron again and Sue. So lots of people in here. You can hear me. That's really awesome. In fact, looks like James said 5 instead of 1, so he must be extra excited for this. As you should be, James. As you should be, because this is going to be really, really good for you. And we'll give it just a second because it is our group and it's not 10 past yet, so most people aren't here. So we'll give everybody a second to get rolling into the room here. And
Ray, where are all your people from?
Well, you know what? We've got people from all around, and I know we've got one person who said that they are from Montreal. That is Ron. He's from Montreal. But yeah, if you guys want to tell us where you're from, we'd love to hear that too. And that would be good. Steve Sleeper in here as well. I know he's from a small town on the moon. And so
Mars. He moved.
And we see Australia on the line. Wow. Okay. Philadelphia, Denver. We got Mars. Steve. Oh, sorry, Steve. It's actually Mars, not the moon. So there we go. And we got California, my old stomping grounds, and looks like something Springs, Florida. I can't read. Isn't that awful? I'm so old, and I left my glasses in the office. It's crazy. A month ago, I would have read this no problem. I've gone completely blind in the period of a couple of weeks here, as far as reading stuff goes.
Hey, Ray, how about Cyprus?
Cyprus, yes, and actually that's Jane. She's we've had people from Cyprus a number of times. I don't know if it's always Jane. I think there's somebody else too that comes from Cyprus because we've had that a few different times. So that's awesome. All right, so we got what does that say? The Godfather of something. I'm so blind, it's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, Dennis.
Godfather of salsa, Dennis. Nice.
From God's country, Yordi land, where the men are men and the sheep are nervous.
Well, that's exciting. So, all right. Well, you know what? We're a few minutes past. We're 5 minutes past. So I'm going to start to get things rolling here because I don't want to waste everybody's time that has shown up on time. For those of you that come in later, we won't punish you, but just know we're watching to see who comes in late. So just be prepared for that. So with me on the line today to talk about ranking all sorts of great properties on Google, especially, and in fact, what I'd like to see in the chat box right now is, are you most excited about ranking websites, Google My Business listings, or videos? That's what I want to see, is which you're more excited about. And we're going to learn a little bit about why this works for any of those types of things. So that, in fact, I'll even say this, you can actually probably rank all 3 of them at the same time doing some of this stuff. So you're going to learn why that's the case in just a few minutes. And with us on the line, we actually have an entire cadre of ranking specialists here. We've got Terry and Gary and Patrick and Dr. Leon on the line. Is everybody there, by the way? Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Good. So it looks like we have everybody on the line. That's awesome. And so let me tell you a little bit about how this webinar came about, why we're doing this. As all of you know, I have been big into ranking videos for a long, long time. I put out a number of courses on how to do it. In fact, not to toot my own horn, but I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe I was the first person on Warrior Plus to ever do a video ranking specific course. And then, of course, everybody and their brother did one within the next 6 months. But I believe I was the very first one I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. And so I've been doing this for a long time for local businesses, for my own businesses, for products that we sell. And I'm always looking for an edge when it comes especially to ranking videos. And as you know, things have changed a lot. The days of setting up a bunch of social media posts, buying a bunch of views, and ranking on page one are long since gone, many years in the past now. But believe it or not, that's how we used to do it. We used to go to a website, say, I want 10,000 views by tomorrow morning, and we would rank number one. And it cost about $5. And unfortunately, that does not work anymore, so do not try that. We've got much better ideas for how to do that without getting yourself in trouble, without getting your videos banned, without getting your websites banned, and Google My Business. That's the new one. I can see a lot of people are interested in learning how to rank Google My Business in this manner, and that's what we actually tested. For those of you who have been following along in the videos that we've put out, we've done some testimonial interviews, but we also did a pretty full-featured demo of the software where Terry, you want to say hi to everybody?
Good afternoon.
So Terry and I, we got together and Terry walked me through an entire, well, I won't even say an entire, because due to time, we actually kind of just skipped through a few of the steps and cut back a little bit on the power of this. So we didn't even show you the entire power that you can have with this, but we went through most of a full setup for a Google My Business listing. And this Google My Business listing has had a lot of issues because the person that we're working with, they don't have a lot of reviews. So they're not getting a lot of that kind of traffic. They don't have people to turn to get reviews. And I keep trying to get her to get her friends and families to leave reviews, but she hasn't done it. So not a lot of activity with this particular Google My Business page. And it recently started to, show up a little bit here and there, but we ran it through this just yesterday or the night before really. And within 24 hours, she had jumped 5 spots and is now at number 9. She keeps moving up now. So I think by the end of the week, well, at the end of the week's tomorrow, but in the next few days, I would not be surprised if she makes it into the top 3 already. And, she's got a lot of issues in her listing. She's part of a larger group. So there's a lot of confusion about the address because there's already, her business, the realtor that she works with, they have a listing at the same address. So we kind of had to make a suite number. So there's a lot of reasons why she would get filtered out. And since we've done this, boom, she's moved up. And I think she's going to get to the number 3 spot pretty quickly. And the way we did that was by leveraging Google, by leveraging properties owned by Google. Now, in the chat box, before we really get rolling here, I want to ask everybody, how many of you have heard of a what's the word I'm looking for where they link all the different sites together, the private blog network, a PBN? How many of you have heard of a PBN? And you can put that in the box. Give me a 1 if you've heard of a PBN, or a yes. Most of you probably have. Most of you probably get scared of a PBN. You don't know exactly what it is. Some of you do. Some of you are a lot smarter than me because I barely understand it. Well, today they're going to talk to you about what we kind of, as a joke, call a GBN, which is a Google blog network, or I guess it should be a
GPN.
PGN, private Google network. And you'll see why that's the case. So to get things rolling, I wanted to introduce you to we're going to start off with our first guest here. And again, for those of you who've just joined us, we are on the line with Terry, Gary, Patrick, and Dr. Leon. So all of them are here. And so what I'd like to do right now is Terry, are you ready to jump in here and talk a little bit about some of the stuff you're doing?
Certainly.
All right. So with that, let's get Terry Power in here. And we'll talk a little bit about what he's got going on, and then we'll get to Patrick, who's going to show you something really cool.
Okay, you want to share? Let me share my screen.
Hello. Anybody got that for Terry so he can share his screen there?
Let's see if I can just grab it without anybody letting me have it. Okay, now you should be able to see
there we go. Now
a white screen with the software on it.
Yep.
And this software, if I click up here where it says Toolbox, there's several different modules. We're not going to go through all the modules today because we've on a limited time, but I'm in one of the modules right now, and I've already got it. I set it up so you can you won't have to watch me type in a bunch of stuff. But and we did this in the video you may have seen with Ray and I going through. We put a title up here, not unlike a video title. This is a local one, so include a phone number when I do it. Some variations on that title. Basically keyword variations that will appear in the metadata, and an article that includes the NAP at the bottom, YouTube URL, and a map over here, some keywords, and then a target URL. And if I click over here, I can see what this is a preview of what this will look like. It's an article, map, and what we're going to do is I am going to put this on some cloud accounts. You've all heard of cloud, just basically just some servers, but the cloud accounts we're going to use are owned by big dogs. So we're going to put it on a Google Cloud, we're going to put it on an Amazon Cloud, and we're going to put it on a Microsoft Cloud. And I'm assuming everybody here has heard of those three guys.
Yes.
And those are, pretty powerful places because we're going to actually be putting stuff on their property. So these will be owned by them. I want to make that map just a little bigger.
Hey, Terry, while you're doing this, can you show them what a NAP is for anybody that doesn't know?
I can do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you don't know, the NAP that I was talking about, name, address, phone. If you're trying to rank a local business or trying to rank a business that you want to appear as local, like say you're doing affiliates or stuff like that, or a CPA offer, you want to show Google the name, the address, and the phone number that they already associate with that, so that you can appear in the maps. If you do a search and you get return results with maps and three businesses under it, they all have listed their name, address, and phone. So this is a NAP right here, a name, address, and phone. Okay. I don't know what I did with my map, playing around with the coding there, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So I go over here to my cloud stacks, and like I said, I'm going to use Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, maybe even throw in Alibaba. What the heck? They have receptacles on the cloud that I'm allowed to create, and I'm going to use those, and that's where these properties are going to end up.
And what Terry's doing now is when you set up your cloud, you're able to set up, in essence, a bucket or a folder, whatever you want to call it. And then so you can organize all of this by client or by process of who you're working for or what site you want ranked. And, so you can segment all of this into very reliable, buckets, as we call them in many cases, or containers, so that you could go back and forth very easily to find the work that you're doing. That's why you see so many of those accounts that Terry has. And it is, can you expand that a little, Terry? It's a little small for people to read. I'm not sure. Can you zoom in, please?
I don't think I can and still be using it.
Okay.
So, and really what this says in the content isn't overly important. You could read it in the preview. But the idea is we created an article, and not unlike if you see an article today in the paper or online about, for instance, last night the Cleveland Cavaliers got beat by the Golden State Warriors. So there's an Associated Press article, no doubt, that's printed lots of places online, the exact same article. They're just curating the article. We're doing the same thing here. We're going to take this article and we're going to put it a few different places online. it doesn't matter that it's the same article in all these places, because it's coming out of our, from our Google account to these different cloud accounts that we're allowed to use thanks to Amazon, Google, and Microsoft and such. So if I click right here on Cloud Stack, which I just did, it's going to create, there we go. Uh-oh, that one's a trouble one. I don't know what's going on here. Obviously, I got a URL wrong, but it did put the same. It gave me a security error on every one of these. That's weird. But it just created 4 of them. If you look, this is actually in Alibaba. This one is in Windows. This one is on Google's API, and this one is on Amazon. So I'm gonna take the time to, since we've got it, I can show it off here. We've got this buttons up here which allow me to save a project and reload it. So I can click reset, let it all disappear, and just pick a different project and load it in there. There it is. That's what the preview would look like. Yeah, it's got a video in there. So then if I cloud stack it, by the way, it does return me the list of the sites where I stacked the stuff. So, oh, we got no target. Got to put a URL down there. Okay, normally this runs a little better. Okay, there we go. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's the 4. Okay, when you put a good website in, it works better. So these 4 pieces that look pretty much the same, except like I said, one's in Amazon, so on and so forth. Not only are they all linked together, they're stacked so that this Alibaba link, if I click on it, changes to the Windows link. It links to the Windows, which links to the Google Cloud, which links to the Amazon Cloud. And that should link back to my my client, my target URL. The beauty of that is these 4 links right here now carry the juice of Alibaba, and then Microsoft, and then Google and Amazon. And the reason they're in that order is just because that's the order I clicked them on here. I could change the order on them if I wanted and move something up or down, any order I'd like. So that's just one of the modules, this HTML creator and cloud stacker. We could also load up a GitHub and a pCloud, and GitHub was just bought by Microsoft. So it's certainly not going to go down in value. We have a Google Calendar module. I don't know how many of you regularly use Google Calendars.
Actually, anybody use Google Calendars at all? Anybody?
Do you use them for your personal stuff to keep track of what you've got coming up, when Ray's next webinar is, things like that?
It does, yes. So, no,
Google
no.
likes it if you use them for business.
Okay.
So
most of the people use calendars, but most of them say they don't use them except for their personal. So this is a different twist on how to use calendars to rank the things that Ray was talking about earlier, or help rank anyway.
yeah, and you're all familiar with when you do a YouTube live, because it's live and it's an event that matters now, Google looks at it right now. They don't wait a week and a half to index it like they might something else. This is the same kind of deal. This is creating events, and it creates an event every half hour. So I've got 3:22 right now. So the first event will be created for 3:30 because it'll go to the next half hour. Then it'll create an event for 4 o'clock and 4:30 and 5 and 5, all the way through a 24-hour cycle. So it's going to create 48 unique events, partly unique because I have spun my titles and I can spin my event description content also. So I've got going to have 48 unique articles, all of which right here has a target URL. That'll be a live link in each of those events. And if I add a URL down here, that will also appear live link in each of the events. So I'll have 2 live links in each of 48 unique events a day in one day, and it will set it up to make it public and to make it repeat ad infinitum. So you get those 96 links every day, every day, every day, forever and ever and ever, or until you stop it, or until Google falls apart, whichever comes first. Let me click right over here, because this will show up in this box, the links, a link to the calendar that I create, and a link to each of the 48 events that I create when I click on create right here. And I don't know if you can see down in the corner, it's going to tell me it's creating a calendar.
And that's all done through API through your Gmail environment as well.
Right.
So
And
it's not like
I'm not populating them yet, but
right. So as an example, while you're doing that, Leon, you did this the other day on one of your YouTube videos. What happened?
I'm not sure what you're asking, Patrick.
Well, you did the calendars and you didn't do anything else on one of the YouTube videos, and you said that you got some pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was at the bottom of page 1 and it went to the top of page 1 in about an hour.
And you did nothing else to it but just use calendars, right?
Yeah, everything else had already been done for some time for that keyword.
Right.
yeah,
I have a question for those that do the GMB or locals. How many people have used a citation before? Have either bought or created citations? Can we get a 1 if you have? Here's the question. How valuable would be creating 48 citations a day and create them till infinity every single day over and over and over and over to create 48 citations? Would that be of any value to you?
Yep. Yep. Yes. Boom. Huge. Yep. If they get indexed, well, of course. But you got to remember, it's a Google Calendar that it's being checked every 5 minutes because it's a Google property. Does everybody realize that all your Google properties are checked every 5 minutes? Give me a 1 for yes or a 2 for no.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that until now.
if you're playing in your Google Drive and you make a change, you'll see when it says that change has been saved and gone on, and Google keeps track of all that because they can.
Yep.
Hey, Terry,
Yes, sir.
when you get finished with this, can we cover the indexing procedure? We got some questions on that, so maybe we ought to take a couple minutes and cover how that works.
Yep.
When you get finished.
Ron is exactly right. It needs to be public, and all of the processes that we do here, create public events for everything. And I'm going to go over Google Drive in a minute as soon as Terry's done.
Okay.
I think there's probably some things that we can share that people don't know.
And you'll see here's the list of these 48 properties, and then at the very top is the list of the calendar itself. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. I want to show you one more module before I unleash this on someone else to play with. This module, which we call our document stacker, has 3 components really. The first we call our buffer document. And the purpose of the buffer document is to funnel all that link juice from everything else. so that I'll create, let me go ahead and upload and you'll see what I'm creating. Okay, this is what it just created, a PDF with a bunch of keywords on it, and an article. If I use this as my buffer doc by clicking up here and copying this URL, now if I send a lot of links to this URL until the client gets ranked well and is really happy, so happy in fact that they fire me, don't need me anymore, we're ranked high, we're selling lots of stuff, thanks, but see ya, then I could come back into this buffer doc and change just this link here and to something else and send all that juice to some other place, the next client I'm going to get. So you wouldn't have to go back and waste all the work you'd already done, because all of it would be coming here rather than each of them going directly to the property in question. Like I could have done that with my HTML properties if I'd run the doc stacker first and have all these links going to that buffer doc instead. Incidentally, that buffer doc was a PDF. I could click here and run it just as easily as a straight HTML document. Both of them are in my Google Drive now. Same content, live link right here. And we can, which is, like I said, that's one of the modules in our document stacker. The next one is fairly basic. Again, you can run it as a PDF or as HTML on all of these in here. This is just a keyword document, a list of our keywords right there, all anchor text to our target URL. And that target URL, as Ray said earlier, can be a video, a playlist, a Google My Business page, an affiliate offer, launch jacking, CPA offer, anything like that you'd like it to be. As I'm going through this and running these, by the way, it's keeping track of the URLs I'm creating. The third component of this document stacker is our article stacker. In that, take a original article in spun format. When I click spin, I've done it once, but it doesn't hurt to do it again. It creates these 5 articles, each of which is unique. I have the NAP of the business down here in each of these. I add 4 other titles. I've got one title up here. I add 4 other titles, so each article's got a unique title. I add a couple of extra keywords for anchor text, and I'll show you in a minute what that does. And I've clicked enable translation also, so I'm gonna go ahead and Ray, what's your favorite foreign language here?
Oh, let's go with Italian.
All right, I could do several, but for brevity, I'm just going to do one right now. Again, I'm going to create these 5 articles in English, then in Italian. And when it does the translation, it's using Google's API, and it goes through Article 1, sentence by sentence, translating it, then Article 2, then Article 3, Article 4, Article 5. So when I click to run this, it's going to first create new documents, 5 of them in English. There's one. And notice these anchor text links in here. That's because those are the keywords I added to anchor text. I could have put any 2 in there, but that's what I happen to choose for this one because it's a locksmith. So, and we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 5. So there's our 5 articles. Each of them is unique. They're all on my Google Drive. They've been published and they are public. So Google can see them, and so can anyone else, in fact. While it did those 5 quicker than I could have put them all in my Google Drive myself. But And notice down here, every 5 minutes, this is automatically updated. Now, this isn't going to be updating because I'm going to leave it alone, but good to know, right? If you can see down in the corner here, it's working on translation. You can see this changing as it's translating articles right now. Okay, so there's our first Italian one, and we don't need to worry about translating it. And there's our second Italian one. Now, those of you who speak Italian, I'm not sure how long it would take you to come up with, to copy those 5 unique articles from English to Italian and then upload them to your drive and make them public. But this software does it fairly quickly.
Hey, Ray, can you kind of talk a little bit about why creating all this information in different languages is important, you know, such as it's all unique content, different backlinks. And let me ask you a question, Ray.
Yep.
How many people in the United States speak only English?
Most of them.
However, how many people in the United States do not necessarily speak English at home, but they speak English outside?
Yeah, there's quite a few, but you know, the thing about this, and I think people need to understand the whole idea behind what we're doing here is we're building link after link after link and place after place after place that has this juice going through it. And because it's from a high authority place like a Google property, it has a lot of value. And when we're taking what we're putting out there and we're putting it into 24 different languages, you now have 24 times as many links as you did a minute earlier, because now you're sending all of these different documents that are getting indexed all back to these buffer documents and all back to your stacks and all back to your articles, which lead back to that main video or Google listing or website. And that's what makes it rank like crazy. We all know that to this day, you know, backlinks are still kind of a thing. And when you get them from these high authority sites, it absolutely dominates, and it does it quickly. And that's exactly what you're doing when you're using all these different languages, is you're just multiplying your efforts instantly.
Right, and not only that, I could double my efforts by running that again as PDF documents to my Google Drive. So that gives you a chance to double it right there. And then you've got all your different languages. You could do it in any or all. And you can add Google accounts, so you can do it in a number of different, on a number of different Google Drives if you wanted to. So that's just, you know, a little extra thing. Again, as I said earlier, there's a little tab here that keeps track of the URLs we just made. Okay, so if we look at those, we look at the ones in our cloud stacker, we've got those URLs, and we got 49 URLs here in our calendar. And keep in mind, our calendar, we could also run it in a number of languages or a number of accounts also. But just looking at this, I'm going to highlight these 49 links. Again, they're from a Google property. And if I highlight them, and I can send them all to Google Sheets. And since I've got them all in Google Sheets, I'm going to go ahead while I'm here and add the ones from my doc stacker. Put them in my Google Sheets also. It didn't stay down there, did it? And let's go ahead and grab our 4 from our cloud stacker. Got all 4 of those.
I had a table of 6 people. They all came in and they all wanted to keep drinking. Well, guess what?
Okay, oops, let me.
Yeah.
So I can, let me go back here to my document stacker and just grab a quick list of some keywords and another nap while I'm at it, and add it to our sheets. Now Sheets, Google Sheets are just spreadsheets. So if our spreadsheets, we want to add in, say, emergency locksmith and commercial locksmith.
Terry, is your sister there?
And then.
No, one of my nieces just came over to see my mother.
We're getting a lot of feedback from somebody in the background. That's overshadowing you. From
All
somebody.
right. Well, I'll be done here in a second, but let me show you what these sheets will look like when they're published. They're going to have that link, like this is the calendar one, and then they're going to have the keywords I just put in, both anchor texted along with that link. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, along with that, if I want, I can add it to a bunch of different languages.
How many do you want?
Hey, Stephanie.
Grandma's yelling at me.
I know, but okay. Anyway, if I click this run, I can I'll go ahead and put my Microsoft on mute, but it will run, and we'll create. Let me show you what it's creating. A number of spreadsheets in a variety of languages.
Yeah, that's in what language?
As a matter of fact, that's a Hindi, I believe.
Okay.
But if you notice on these as they're created, they are public on the web. The software has made them public on the web and has published them, so they are good to go.
Cool.
In the software, what's this here?
Do we, for a question for everybody in the room, in the question room, anybody want to take a guess how many backlinks we just created? We might throw an extra little bonus out there for a person that can come the closest.
I know when Terry and I were doing a similar project yesterday for that video, I think at one point at the beginning with just like 2 languages, I was estimating it was already at like almost 2,000 links at that point.
Well, here's
That's
the thing, Ray, we'd like everybody to think about. Unlike a PBN or some of the posting softwares out there, every link is high quality. There's not one bad link in the bunch. So all you've done is create high-end, high-quality, safe links.
Well, and not only that, but compared to a PBN, how much money did you just spend to do that? You spent nothing. PBN, you're going to be buying URLs and buying old sites and doing all sorts of things that cost money every single time. In fact, one of the reasons that this is so much, in my opinion, bigger and better than a PBN is the fact that with a PBN, a lot of times you're not going to use it for smaller projects because it's too much of a hassle and too much of a cost. Whereas this, even if you've got a small project, you just go in and do it because why not? There's no reason not to. It's not hard. It doesn't cost anything. You just go in and you do it. And you get just amazing amounts of backlinks.
Hey, I think Mike's got it like right on the head there. Google will kill PBNs it doesn't like. Google won't kill their calendar or their children, as I call them.
Exactly. They're not gonna take down their own calendars, or sheets or anything else. In fact, they probably can't take down the sheets and things like that because that's private data technically. Even though you're making it public, it's your data, and imagine the trouble they'd get in for doing that.
Right.
Right. Remember, these are going on your Google Drive or the Google Drive of an account you control anyway, and you can put anything you want on them, and then you can make them public. And you can translate them to various other languages. So that's just some of what we can do with this software that allows you to, I don't know what I clicked in there that gave me an error, but anyway, it's in a
and
loop.
By the way, the one
Go
thing
ahead,
we
Ray.
didn't mention is once you're done doing this, there's no reason you can't jump into your next Google account and do it again.
Right. Yeah, you can keep multiplying these efforts again and again and again and again.
We've been doing this for over a year, guys. and not a single person has ever had a Gmail account compromised by doing this. You can set up, 10, 15, 20 different accounts, but 10 easily different Gmail accounts. And what I don't want you to actually go through the process, but when you get back to the beginning of this, Terry, just show your drop down of all the Google accounts that you have, and literally what you can do, which is like crazy, insane stuff, is that you can do all this in one account, and you can just click a button. You don't have to log in because this is all API driven. And so you just go from one account to the next account and do it all over again. So it's coming from a different Google account. You drop out of that one and do another one, do it all over again, and do variations of all this stuff. It comes from another Google verified account. These are all your Google accounts, Christopher. So whatever it takes for you to get a Gmail account, that's all that's all you have to do. And as long as you can get them verified and you can set them up, or you can buy Google verified sites. The point is, using 5, 6, 7, 8, or 10 of these different Google Gmail accounts, and I think we all have multiple Gmail accounts, you can just load those up in the program and just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Does that make sense to everybody?
It
And in each of those
I mean, I hope
accounts, you
it
can do
does.
20 some different languages.
Yeah, and speaking of the languages, because we're getting a couple of people asking, well, gee, does it cover, this language or that language? The idea behind the languages isn't necessarily that you're doing it in Spanish so that somebody in Spain can read it. It's that you're doing it in other languages because you're getting the backlink. So it doesn't
And it makes
matter
it
which
fun.
language you use per se.
Right, exactly.
I mean, somebody from Spain may come across your Spanish one, or Mexico, or somebody in Greece may come across the Greek one, and that might be helpful. But really, the idea is we're doing this for the links and the content than we are for people actually reading them.
Right. So, I mean, this is all good and great and looks awesome, but Ray, like anything else, it doesn't really mean a damn if it doesn't work, right?
Yep.
So in light of that, as soon as you can pop out of here, Terry, why don't you share with everybody some of the results that you've gotten just by utilizing, the software? In other words, a couple of the GMBs that you were sharing that you got listed in the 3-pack, maybe share how the Amazon S3 Cloud actually shows up on the first page of Google. I mean, want to share some results with everybody. And, as well as Ray saying at the very beginning of this, we started on one of his properties just a day ago, and it already moved up 5 spots.
Yep.
We can't really kind of share that with anybody, but I mean, obviously we all trust Ray. It's not fabricated. And then we're going to share with you a couple minutes. We're going to turn this over to Dr. Leon, Ray, simply because we know that you guys are video and YouTube freaks, right?
Yes.
And so Leon is going to share with us some pretty interesting things in just a minute, once Terry gets here and shares some stuff with us, okay?
That sounds fantastic.
Everybody's itching. They're just saying, show me the proof, show me the proof, show me the money. So we're gonna go ahead and get to that, and then we'll answer a bunch of these questions later, okay?
All right.
Oh, yeah, somebody asked about translations. One of the comments is, since Google does the translation, then Google is going to think it's perfect translation. I suspect that that's true.
Exactly.
And then Raphael says, how does this help with maps and 3-pack ranking? Come on, guys.
Well, I'm glad you asked. As Ray said, we did a brief campaign for him on a GMB, and in 24 hours, it moved up 5 spots.
Yep.
And then once Terry's done with this, I'm gonna kind of share with you how you can make some money with this right away. And Ray, I think we'll see if people, as they see what Terry's doing, can understand the possibility that you can turn around and make $500 to $1,000 a month very easily with this. Speaking of which, while Terry's setting up, how many of you guys in here right now make more than or less than $1,000 a month? Give me a more or a less. Okay. 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 Interesting. Keep going. I like the way more. I like to eat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, online, Thomas. Just using your online business. Okay. What would you say we're about 50-50, Ray?
Pretty close, I think.
Yep. It looks like we're pretty close. So if for at least half of the people in here, we're going to be able to just kind of share this idea with you where you can almost double your income in the next 30 days. And, Terry's going to show you proof of how that's going to happen. For those of you that are making more than that, then this is just going to help you make more of the more that you're making. Does that make sense? Does it work for competitive keywords? Steve, we have actually in the past when we're developing this, taking a rip-off report and moving it off of page 1. Terry, I think you've got one that you're working on with weight loss, right?
Yeah. This
So-
works on any URL. It takes more work if it's a highly competitive niche, obviously, but that's the case no matter what. It's just that because this saves you so much time, you can do so much more work in less time than you would have done without the software.
Exactly.
This one right here, I live in Greensboro, and so I picked this one. I punched this in, pulled up the 3-pack, and clicked on more places, went down a ways, and in fact, I went to number 13. I don't know what number I'm on right now, but anyway, I went to number 13, which was this guy, and I ran some campaigns for him, and as you see, he's now in the 3-pack.
Nice.
And he was not a client. He is about to be. He's with Yext, and his contract runs out the end of June, and he's already agreed to. He's going to be my client starting the 1st of July. Because after a couple years of Yext, he wasn't in the 3-pack. He was still down at number 13. So he decided to change his ways and come with me.
Now, how much you?
So that's one.
I don't want to ask you that question.
Yeah,
Well, you're
that's one way you can make some money.
Well, you're
You
making
can
more than
find somebody
$500
that's
bucks a month, right?
it's a few dollars, yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if you go over here, well, these first 2 are ads, so go beyond them. 1, 2, 3. Now, if we go past them, 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a time when these 4 were probably part of the 7-pack. You remember, it used to be 7-packs. They're not anymore. Some of them would pay to be back in the 3-pack now that it's a 3-pack. Why not have them pay you? I mean, you're here. What the heck? So that was my theory, was if I could get somebody that wasn't in the 3-pack to the 3-pack, what reason would they have not to hire me? So like I said, that's one I picked. Just for your own edification here, local SEO, this is me using Ranking Factory. Okay.
Nice.
Now this one, I want to show you. This is a long tail keyword, as you can see. This is my client, by the way, right in the top of the 3-pack. But more importantly, this is the same guy, and this. Okay, so you got to scroll a little to get past him. But once I'd ranked for it using nothing but Ranking Factory, I can then work on a shorter long tail where he's at 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I don't think he's any farther down. No. Although his Facebook page is down there also. Okay, so he's got half of the front page, and you have to scroll to find anybody but him. So then we go even further to a shorter long tail. Spot 1, 2, 3, top 3. right here. So with Ranking Factory, you can work on just on, these are inner pages of his website. Just so you don't have to use it just for GMBs or just for videos or anything you want. If you're doing a CPA offers in Brazil, this will do it all in Portuguese for you. So, you're good to go. Over here, this, I met with a guy on the recommendation of someone, and I gave him a price of $1,000 a month to do SEO work for him, and that was out of his budget. So I asked him if he'd be interested in hiring me for $1 if he had $1. Luckily he had $1 on him, so he gave me $1. We met back up 10 days later, and I showed him this page. And I said, so this is you. And I didn't point this out to him, but these are not his websites. These are Amazon cloud pages. Okay. There's no hosting on these, no domain costs or anything like that. But he doesn't care because the phone number is ranking, the site is ranking, the phone number is ranking, and it goes back to his company. And he told me when we met back up 10 days later that in the past 2 days, so roughly after a week after I'd started, he'd gotten several calls from the web placing orders. And in the year and a half before he sat down with me, he'd gotten one call from the web in all that time because his page didn't rank anywhere and didn't do him much good. So when we met back up, he came with his checkbook, and he was ready to afford me now. So
Cool.
So keep that in mind as a possible another way to get clients. Do some work for them, but get them to pay you. Pay you $1, pay you $20, put you on retainer. Then they've already given you money, even if it's only $1. Once they see value well more than $1, then you can say, now here's what I would propose. I propose we do this, this, and this, and it's going to cost you this much. They've already given you money. They've already seen great results. They're a lot more likely to give you more money.
So in essence, basically what I was going to share is that if you take the process that Terry's sharing with you, is pick somebody that's not in the GMB. Don't even tell them that you're doing it. And you just use our process to get them up into that 3-pack. Is there anybody in here that would not pay you to get when they're already in the 3-pack? So Ray, I call you up and say, Ray, I got you in the 3-pack for awesome video maker of, whatever. And you're like, well, I was never there. And I would say, yes, I know. But you and 27 other people in your city are trying to get that keyword. Would you like to be the one that has it? Because go look, you're already in the 3-pack. I did that for you. And if you would say yes, that would be great. How much is it going to be? 500, 1,000, depending on, what your product is and what you're selling it. And if you say no, what am I going to tell you?
Competition to get it.
You got it. So it's the easiest way to make money, serious money, without necessarily having to sell it, right? Because everybody, all the people that we want to try to sell to, they say, well, show me, and they don't want to put money up front anymore. So we're just coming into the back door and saying, Ray, you're already ranked. Now do you want to pay me or not? Because I've proven myself, right? So how easy is that? Even the most shyest person in the world that doesn't want to make sales calls can sell this. Would you all agree with me? Give me a 1 if you think I'm, telling you some ways to make some money, or give me a 3 if you think I'm from Mars with our other friend over there from Mars. Yeah, right.
See, I just did a Google search for Atlanta waterproofing. And if we discount the first 3, this 4, 5, or 6, I don't be surprised if they would pay you to get them in that 3-pack.
Now, Ted, can we go back for 1 second? Because you have a question here. I was answering it in text, but I think it's a good time to kind of jump in with this one. In Terry's example there, people are asking if you do that, and what if they say no, but thanks for the ranking and walk away? Terry, what are you going to do?
That's when I go back to that buffer document and I change the link on that to the next guy on the list. And the guy that I bumped up into the 3-pack would then drop back down because suddenly he has no more of those links pointing to him. And one of his competitors would jump up there and I can go call that guy the next day.
All
There
right.
you go.
No, let me just stop right there because I know after doing this, a lot of times people don't understand what we're talking about. So either Dr. Leon or Gary, give me an image that shows what we're talking about, but let me give you a visual. Okay. If you're standing, Ray, on the train tracks and there's a train coming at you and you know it's going to hit you, but right next to you, if you look at the old movies, there's this lever that you can pull, right? And that lever does what? It changes the direction of the train by switching the track over so that when it comes and approaches you, it doesn't hit you, it moves to the left. Remember in the old cartoons and all that,
Yep.
you know, that would happen, right?
Yep.
So if you think about this, what we have is a switch box. Our buffer document is a switch box. And it just says, we've created this massive campaign. We're sending, you know, literally an army of backlinks to Billy Bob's hair salon. And Billy Bob says, I think you guys are fruitcakes. Yeah, I'm ranked, but I don't want it. We say to all that army that's coming towards us, we pull the switch, we change the track, and it now goes to Mary Sue salon. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand what I just said? How awesome it is that you can direct your own destiny when people get to be stupid. You know, how many times, maybe some of you guys that have been here a long time, how many times have you done a really good job for somebody and then they say, thank you, but we don't need you anymore? Give me a 1 if that's ever happened. Okay? Yes, 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 yes. Lots of ones, lots of ones. Well, listen, guys, I can guarantee you right now that will never, ever, ever happen again. Because as soon as they say we don't need you anymore, what are you going to do? You go into this buffer doc, which is what is it Leon or Gary showing you? I'm not sure which. And you just change the direction of where you're pointing everything that you build so that you never, ever have to waste time again building for something for somebody. And then they tell you to go take a hike. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. Do you know about how some people have asked this? Do you know about how long it would take if you cut somebody off and pointed it to somebody else before it kind of swapped?
Don't know for sure, but it's not going to take long because all that juice that was going is gone. It stops.
Yeah. And I was going to say you're probably looking at about 2 or 3 days. And the reason that I say that is because I know, for instance, with YouTube videos, if you make a major change, it usually takes about 2 to 3 days before Google really notices that and reindexes all the different things and whatnot. So my guess is it's probably going to be 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. Either way, guess what? Guess what happens when they call you back and say, what happened to my site?
Yep.
Price just doubled if you want it back, right? So
Yep.
Anyway, I want everybody to understand the ability, Ray, to jump into something, you know, and actually turn it into good income, not a $25 CPA offer, $2.90 Amazon, you know, commission, but a solid monthly income, you know, that is easy to get by using the program and easier to sell. Now, one of the guys asked, well, you've taken an hour to show us how to set this up. Is this really difficult? So I'm going to turn that back over to you, Ray, because you went through this whole thing with Terry.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think it's difficult. Once you understand it, the steps are none of the steps are difficult. Do they take a little bit of time? Yeah, they take a little bit of time to set things up. but it's not hard work, and it's well worth doing, especially, you know, for what the results you get out of it. So you figure Terry and I put one together yesterday. It took us 50 minutes to do the whole video with all of that stuff in there, and that was with him explaining each step along the way. So you figure, you know, if he's explaining it to me, that means probably 50 out of those, probably 2 minutes was work, and 49 was, you know, 48 was trying to get me to understand. So no, I'm joking about that. Probably, you know, I would say it was probably 15 minutes work. Terry, what would you say?
Probably in that 15, 20 minutes, or something like that. And you got 5 spots up in the GMB in a day from that amount of work.
Yep. And by the way, just so people know, for the sake of time in that video, we didn't do everything. We only did 2 languages. We only did one set of the Google Sheets. We didn't do some of the modules just because we didn't have a lot of, you know, we didn't want the video to be 2 hours long. So we didn't even do everything that we could have, and we still got those results. That's pretty good.
All right. Okay, so we've been a little long on this. I want to get really right into Dr. Leon and sharing some meat of some YouTube stuff. So thanks, Terry. Really appreciate that. Dr. Leon, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to give Leon the presentation?
I'm the presenter already.
Oh, there
I'm
you
just
go.
going to explain the diagram a little bit before we go on. Basically, what we were seeing in the doc stacker earlier is the fact that we put those 5 articles in there. And what needs to be understood is that each of those link to the next one in succession. So each of those are a different tier or different layer. And so they're all driving juice up to the main doc, which is then driving it to the buffer doc, which is then sending it to whatever link you have in there, your money site or your video. And so that's the whole purpose. And we can do that in an HTML or a PDF or both. And so then all we have to do, like we were talking about, is change the link in here if we want to send it somewhere else. And we can do the same kind of thing over here. This was our cloud stack. And if we were sending that to our buffer doc, then that would, all we'd have to do is change that in the buffer doc right there. And let's go look at, in our G sites, we can run the same thing. We can do a English G site, do a language and stack it to the first G site. And in the next one, we can do another language and stack it to the second one. And we just keep going down. So we can build power with their G sites the same way by stacking them and sending them to a buffer doc or whatever link we want to. And let's take a look at one more drawing real quick. Here's what we used to look at a lot of times is we can send things to a buffer doc with our video. Our G site was pointing to a buffer doc, and then we could use a main buffer doc for all of our other properties to point to, which would then point to the G site. And we could even add buffer docs behind that. So that's another scenario that a lot of people use. So we kind of wanted to show that a little bit, but let's go over to private browsing window and take a look at a few things. So here is a short keyword. Let's pull it up, and it's doing that again. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait a minute, leave it there, Leon. Ray, you see what I'm talking about? Look at that.
Yeah, and folks, I want to point this out because this is something that is, I don't know how new it is, but it's definitely something that's changing. You know, before, in fact, what did you showed me this, what, 3 days ago, and it didn't show like this. They're starting to,
it's on and off,
place videos like they used to in the old days.
Or more like Bing does, you know. I see it sometimes, and then sometimes I don't. If you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to close this out and see if I can get rid of it. Close that window and then try opening another one. Try it again.
Hey guys, Jane says she's been seeing this a lot the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's just started in the last week mainly.
Yep.
Um,
And I believe it's mostly outside of the United States that it's happening, which is probably why Jane's getting to see it.
Well, I've been seeing it here in the States. I don't do anything outside
Have
the
you
States.
really? I've never seen it yet, only from people outside. That's funny.
I've been seeing it for the past week. It's off and on, like I just showed. I dropped out of that browser, come back in, and now I don't have it. You can see that it's gone. Okay, same keyword, and now you don't see that. Okay, but this is a 28,700,000 keyword for keyword translation. That's what we're running here in our private browser. And I've only seen it in the private browser. If you do it in your main browser, you won't see this that we were seeing a minute ago. You know what I'm talking about, Ray?
Yep.
It's only in the private browsing that I'm seeing that. So that's the only time I've come across it. But this is a video that we did for another product we have. And basically, we're #1 right under their little thingy here. And so 28,700,000. Do you think that's an easy one to rank for?
Give me a 1 if you think that's pretty tough. 28 million results. So if we can rank for 28 million results, then you guys kind of need to stop asking me questions. Can I rank for mortgage? Can I rank for weight loss? Can I rank for this? Can I rank for that? There really isn't anything that we can't rank for. And like Ray said earlier, it's just a matter of how much time and effort you're willing to put in. We've provided the talent for the process. It's just, if you got to run 20 campaigns to get to #1 and you have the resources of the software to do it, then why not do it, right? And, like everybody says, this is a tough keyword. But I want to share with you, Dr. Leon, go back to Keyword Translation Factory. I want you to show them.
Actually, while I'm here, let me show this real quick.
Ray, when have you seen that?
Been a long time.
Yep.
Before we get there, let's do another keyword real quick. Software, I want to show that one.
The real question, guys, is when was the last time you saw that coming out of a single account?
That's it, too.
And here we are for, now they started putting all their ads in there because we're starting to send them traffic. So we're still at the top, but underneath their ads and stuff. That's an 8,070,000 keyword. And then I actually wanted to do something just a little bit. We'll get there in a minute, Patrick. I want to show this one. Here's the one we were talking about earlier. I didn't have any videos at the top. I had this singular video at the very bottom, and I ran calendars once we got that module made. And the next hour or so, I was at the top. And then the last few days, now all of a sudden, I've got 2 videos up there. And so, that's what's going on with that one. And let's show the video here. And you can see again, I pretty much take over the entire top of anything in the videos. And I wanted to show one other thing and why people are having trouble understanding the difference between Google and other search engines. Let's go over to Bing for a second. Now here's Bing, and we don't see us at the top, but let's go down a little bit. Here's our website. Here's a YouTube video right there for this keyword. Okay, so we can still rank in the other search engines, but they don't have the favoritism that Google has for their own properties. Okay, you can look under videos, and there I am for the first video. But in Bing, you're not going to get the favoritism that you see in Google. And so that's why when we do this, we're in Google and we're dominating in Google, but you won't see that in other search engines because they use different criteria. They don't favor Google properties. And so it's a totally different ballgame. And so let's go back here, and I want to see this one real quick. And you can see, I've got 5 there under the review term for 9,500,000. Then we've got, let's do this one real quick. I think we got 15 million. There, I'm at the top. And
Now, all the way along here, we're also picking up some positions on the front page, mostly with the main website as well. And some of the other like S3s that are showing up sometimes get ranked as well. So
Yeah.
picking up a lot of spots.
here's 3 of my videos. This is a blog, and here's our website right here, all at the top. Plus, in the images, all of those images are mine. So we're ranking there.
Hey,
And
Leon,
yes,
maybe the one thing to bring up, just to show the power of what we do, how many backlinks have we ever put to the main website?
well, that's a tricky question, Gary, because in other words, the main website has never really been targeted specifically. It was only targeted because it was in my video description and also in a spot in the Google site where we give the website link. And so
Exactly.
only 2 spots that ever had that link, and nothing's ever been done for that site. But I wanted to show you back over on Bing that we can rank for these longer tail keywords. You know, here I'm at number 1 for a video. Here's a WordPress blog. Here's another video. Here's our website. So we take over the first 4 spots in Bing for our longer tail. The longer tail keywords seem to be doing okay with what we're doing, and so they show up in Bing fairly good. And so we don't have a problem there. And so let's see, we'll take a look at this one real quick. Here's another, here's a longer tail keyword where we've got 2 at the top. Here's a blog, a WordPress blog. And then we'll get over here to keyword translation. And we can see I've got 3 videos at the top. Here's a WordPress blog. Those are basically all our images in there. So we take over the top of that. And let's go take a look over here. Oh yeah, we take over that too. So what questions do you have, Ray?
Well, we've kind of been hitting a lot of them along the way, and a lot of the questions have been very similar. But I do encourage everybody, if you've got a question, put it out there. Let's see. So we had a lot of, one question that's popped up a couple times is about pinging and indexing the links. And it's funny because that's a question that I actually asked earlier today, specifically about that. Do you guys want to give your opinions on that? You're creating all these links. Should you ping them? Should you use an indexing tool? Do you think it's a necessary use at all?
Well, let me answer that in the fact that I never do.
And that's kind of the thing, is because these are indexed so quickly, would it have an advantage? Would it be a little quicker? Maybe, but it's so quick naturally that it's probably not necessary.
Well, Google has actually changed things and made it harder. And even the pinging and the indexing doesn't seem to work that very fast. So
Yeah.
It's not really going to make much of a difference, I don't think. You can do it, but you're going to have these rankings one way or another, usually within a week, maybe 2 tops. They're going to start taking over. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of will they. It's just a matter of when.
And some others were curious on the Google My Business listings. Are the map embeds the important part? Do you think it's the links? What do you think is important, and what should they focus on with that? Obviously, we do it both. So,
Terry, are you still there?
Terry's had something he had to go grab and do.
Okay. Basically, on the business listings, one of the things that Terry tries to focus on, we know, is that we go for the reviews.
yep.
So you don't target the actual GMB per se. You target whatever is pointing to it as much as you can.
Hey, Leon, maybe we can expand on that, why we target the reviews and not the main URL.
Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. If you target the main URL, you're not only going to pick up and push juice to the top 3 if you're one of those 3. So you're going to put your competitors up there. If you're pushing the review, it's going to go straight to the GMB you're targeting. Does everybody understand that? Give me a 1 if that's real clear, or is that confusing?
Yeah, not
Okay.
clear.
It's not clear. So let's kind of focus it. Let's say you have your 2 competitors and yourself in that GMB, or it's your client. You don't want to push all that link juice and help the other 2. You want to just help your client and push him to number 1. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. And by the way, it's very easy to do that. In fact, in the video we did with Terry yesterday, that's exactly what he did. Is he used and he actually used both, I believe, because he used the links themselves to the reviews, and then to some of the images that were in the GMB as well. So he actually sent some of the juice directly to the images.
Now Terry is what I would call an expert at it. And he's our resident guru on the GMBs. He could do it in his sleep, and generally he can do it within days. So he has a
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ray. The links we did when you were working with me Tuesday evening, I guess it was.
Yep.
We didn't index any of those, and like you said, you jumped 5 spots in 24 hours.
Right.
Nobody doing any indexing. So, yeah, as Leon says,
I don't know if you heard the question that we were discussing just now. Besides the indexing, we're talking about the with the GMBs. You know, are the embeds important? Is it more about the links? Where you're linking to? And we were talking about how you link to the reviews. Do you want to explain that in a little more detail?
Well, there are so many parts to your GMB. Google will let you build a business site. They will let you make posts. They will let you. Oh my gosh, it's getting windy out here, I guess. They will let you post photos. They will post reviews. Let people post reviews. So you can target any of those and all of those, because all of those just bolster your GMB. And you can go straight to the URL of your GMB, but you want to do a few of each. You don't want to send all your juice to one thing. With your calendar, you've got 2 links in each of those 48 events in a day, so you can send maybe one to the reviews and one to the photos, or that sort of thing. So it's a combination of all of it. When you do the HTML pages, you're embedding a YouTube that helps that YouTube video, and if that video leads back to your GMB, that helps. All that, it's just a combination of all of it.
Nice.
Cool.
Hope that answers their question.
All righty, very good. Do we have any really serious questions that people want to ask right now? Because I think Leon shared the viability of getting your YouTube videos ranked. And, literally, if you put your brackets around any keyword when you're doing YouTube or doing Google searches, you get a different variation of what the actual numbers are. So we realize that, but when people are looking for these particular keywords, your particular video, whatever it is, and you're ranking there, it really doesn't make any difference as long as you're showing up. And I know that people, Ray, may disagree with that, but the simple fact is we're getting there, and we're showing you how we're getting there. We're getting GMBs. We're showing how you're getting GMBs. And not to discredit anybody that's selling you a course, there's a lot of people that are trying to sell you courses on how to rank and how to get into the GMB. And Ray, what do I mean by course, right? Versus and a utility to let you do that versus a course, right?
Yep. Well,
You
and
pay
and
all
I
this
think the
money
big
for a
thing is,
course.
a course is going to teach you what you need to do, and obviously the software is going to do it for you.
Exactly. So, why would we personally, why would I want to pay 300, 400, 500, 600 bucks for a course? And then you have to go independently do all of the work and do all the setup and do everything when we've already established what we need to do. We built the software to do it for you. And literally all you have to do, as you said yesterday, Ray, you just filling in the blanks with your own data.
Yep.
Right? And creating your own content. And this is all being done for you. And, quite frankly, I still want to share with people that we're not done. This tool is not finished. You can look at the top up there and you can see Blogger. We're going to be, sending stuff to Blogger. We're going to be sending, we have a new maps program, Ray, that I shared with you that's coming out. That's going to do mapping and all kinds of crazy stuff with that. But as I told you earlier, we consider this product a beta product. Why? Because we've been building it for a year and we've really taken pain to do it correctly. And we still have 3 or 4 modules that we're going to be adding onto this before we're done, right? Leon's, kind of highlighting, the Blogger. We haven't even gone over G sites yet, or Sheets, or the Grabber, or Slides. These are all other properties that you can use independently to obtain your goals, right? So I want everybody to understand, that this is a beta. There are things that are coming. And when we do our maps module, it's going to be for sale to the outside world at hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But if you're a member of the Ranking Factory, we're going to have the maps module within the Ranking Factory that's going to come with the same price you're paying today. And Ray, you and I have had this conversation. We never, ever, 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 ever raise our prices because there's new versions coming out. Everybody that comes in stays at the same price forever. We have people right now that are paying $19.95 a month, and they'll never pay another dime, right? So that's how we operate, and that's the integrity that we bring. Is that you're never going to see something like, hey, we got a new version, so you got to pay another 300 bucks to get the new version because the old version doesn't work that you paid 300 bucks to get. Doesn't that tick you off, Ray?
Yes, it does.
I mean, how many times does that happen? You spend good money for something and then, Mike, no, that's not available. That was, if you come with us a year ago, that would have been, right? So good try, buddy. But it's important for us, for everybody to realize that, because I don't want people to buy something and come into our Skype group. And by the way, we have over 550 members in our Skype group. And we have about a 1.5% cancellation rate. So that should tell you something about what we do, the integrity of what we're building. And people that come into this, they don't leave because they see the value and the results that they're getting. Okay. Why are you talking? What are you talking about? Windows. I don't know. Windows. But this is the Grabber right here. This can make so much craziness for you just by grabbing the links that you've created on your drive and then creating anchor text out of all the links, out of all the products that are on your drive. Let me stop real quick and ask everybody a question, realistically. Give me, just answer yes or no. Do you understand Google does not crawl your hard drive? Give me a yes or a no. Do you understand that? Google does not crawl your hard drive. Why? It is
That
your
we know
data. Well, not that we know of, right? Okay. So here, no, Jane says, thank God. Okay, but here's the one thing. No matter what you do today, no matter what, I want you to take away this one thought, okay? And that is everything that you have on your hard drive, do you realize that if you have Word documents, tell me what you can do with that, with what we shared with you today. Anybody know what you can do with a Word document? You can copy it to a what? Come on. We've already told you what you can do. Exactly, guys. Will, Jane, everybody, Scott, turn them into a Google document and then make them public. And if they're public and shareable, Google will crawl that every 5 minutes. You see how valuable that could be just if you do that? Okay. If you have an Excel spreadsheet, what can you do with that in Google? What can you convert your Excel spreadsheet to in Google? How about what? Google Sheets. And if you make a Google Sheet, exactly, Mike, you can make it public and shareable. And what does Google do? It crawls it every what? How many minutes?
Every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes. Okay. So if you have a PowerPoint that you've created for your business, for yourself, for your clients, and it's sitting on your hard drive, what can you convert your PowerPoint to? Anybody have an idea? Not a Google Doc. Google has its own PowerPoint called presentations. All you have to do is import your PowerPoint to a Google presentation and make it public, and guess what happens? It gets crawled every 5 minutes. Okay? So the point, and you can take all of your images. Ray, think of this. All of the images that you have on your hard drive, you can take all of those, metadata crap out of them, and put them where? In your Google image folder. And what happens when you make them public and shared? Right? Are you guys starting to see the picture here? Whether you believe anything that we're doing, whether you want to do the software, whether you think it's way too expensive, and if you guys will just learn what we're trying to help you with and take these simple steps, just doing those simple steps, you're going to see some things happen. Would you agree, Ray?
Yep.
Okay.
And we've got one question here that I think follows up with that really well. And Scott says, with all of this stuff working the way it does, wouldn't smart SEOs already be doing this kind of stuff? What do you guys say to that?
I've been doing it for years.
We've been doing it for a while.
Most of the really smart ones probably are.
And you know how long it used to take me to do this stuff?
Well, and that's the big part. It would take you a week,
It would take me a week to do what I can do in an hour or two.
Yep, because imagine making thousands and thousands and thousands of these things and bringing them into Sheet. I mean, it's a lot of work. And especially, I want to reiterate the one thing in here that, if you walk away with anything, think about this one, the calendars, because what may or may not have gotten across, and I want to make sure that it really does, is when you're putting these links into the calendars, it's creating new events with links every single day. So you're not just putting it in calendars and getting a bunch of links. No, you're getting new links today. You're getting new links tomorrow. You're getting more the next day, forever, for the next million years. However long Google Calendars exist, it's going to keep making you new links every single day from a hot Google property.
Let me show you something, Ray. On the grabber, do you know why we've got the grabber?
Yep.
Maybe these people don't. So I've actually logged into the account. I've clicked on calendars. And so let's just hit search there. And it will take just a little bit over on the Google Drive. And boom, there we've got a couple of calendars back. So let's go take a look at one you were talking about. And it takes a little bit of time to load in these calendars.
You'll see why.
Well, yeah, there's a lot there. And here's what Ray's talking about. It's there forever. We can go to next month. It will have to load again. You got to wait for the loading. And there we are. Same thing again. You've got 48 in a day, so you can see all 48 here. Okay. If we want to click on one, we can actually see the content in there. And so we can scroll down, and there at the bottom is our link that we put in there. So the content is there. It's fresh every half hour, and it's going on forever.
Yep. I mean, that alone right there is absolutely I mean, it's incredible. It's insane. It's ridiculous.
And do you understand that's an event, Ray?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say next is each one of those is an actual event with a link back. So it's not just a link in a calendar. I mean, it's an actual event that's posted and has that link. So it's new every half hour. It's new. A new link every half hour forever. I mean, how do you beat that? It's incredible.
Pretty tough. Pretty tough.
Hey, Patrick,
Yep.
where you say we give them a peek of what's going to come?
With what?
Oh, I think I got a picture that might give them a pretty clear picture of some of the things that's being added here very soon.
All right. Let's do that, and let's wrap it
Yeah.
up. We're running to the end here.
Before we do that, does everybody have a good solid pair of Depends on?
What are Depends?
That's so we have no messes to clean up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to change you over to
Yeah.
all right, go for it. It's yours. Watch this.
Now, everybody know what you see in there?
No, we don't see anything.
We're not seeing it yet.
You have to accept the invitation.
Yeah, I already did that.
There we go. The tornado.
Has anybody ever seen anything like that before? Come on, you ever seen anything like that? Have you ever built anything like that before? Have you ever had the time? It is not GMB spam. Okay? But you could never have the time to build that, right? So in the maps module you go ahead, Gary, tell them what we're doing.
Well, basically, when you look at these pins, think of it this way. Every one of these pins has some information put into it. So if you could control the information, even though it wasn't originally your pin, and added it to your map, think of what you could put in there. You could put in the GMB information you wanted. You could put target URLs. You could put directions. You could put photos. There's so much content you could put into each of these pins, and you control all this content. So with this much information pointing to your target, let's, for example, a GMB, what effect do you think it would have for your client or for yourself? Anybody have an idea?
So would it help? Yes, or would it be worthless time of effort too? Yes, obviously. It's going to help a lot. It's just another way that we built into this. See, if you look at every single component that Leon and Terry and Gary have shown you, you would probably be willing to spend, $20, $30 a month just for every single one of these separate components, right? I mean,
Yep.
They're all that powerful, but you have them all in one house, okay? And it's just like you can use this one or that one or this one or that one or this one and this one and this one and that one. You make up your own recipes. So, it's not like there's a do this first, do this second, do this third, do this fourth. We give you a step-by-step program of what you should do, but it just really boils down into using different things that are powerful for you that make difference for either your GMB or your video or your website or your CPA offer or whatever, right? So, and we've got, like I said, over 550 people in the Skype group that jump on and are ready to help everybody at almost 24 hours a day. It's pretty crazy, right? So with that being said, any other questions you have for Ray? Because I guess everybody wants to know how much this is going to cost them, right?
Yes, and there was one question, and I'm trying to see where it was because we had a whole bunch of yeses now. Somebody wanted to know if you're doing this for a client, would you use their Google account, their Gmail account, or yours?
Yours.
Never theirs.
and many of yours.
Yeah,
Yes.
you want to control it. And can we go back to my screen, Patrick?
Yep.
You want to control what's going on, and you can't do that if you have somebody else's um, account. So let's just go into something. We'll show you the new module. Basically, we use APIs to log into everything. There's only 2 modules that actually do physical logging in, because we have to, in the link grabber on the drive, we have to be logged in to get to the information. And over in our G sites, we have to be logged in to get information. But I switched accounts just that fast. Okay, this is how quick you can go from one account to the next, because we're using an API. And you don't want to have your clients' accounts in here. You want yours. You've got to be able to set them up in here and use them. And you can use as many as you want. It's not a problem to go from one to the other. And so we want to be able to control that. We can't really control that well if we've got to use our client's account. They're going to have to give you access, and that's not always easy. And so it's really a complicated mess if you're trying to use somebody else's accounts, and you want your own.
Hey, Leon,
Sure.
we have some people that are that need to get off. So
Okay.
what do you say we can hang around and answer questions for the people who want to stay? But let's let Patrick cover our end there, and we'll go back to any questions for anybody that would like to stay.
You guys have to forgive me for 1 second because I was playing with something else. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, Ray, you want to discuss a little bit about what you're offering for everybody?
Yeah, well, so what we're going to have is we're going to throw together a bonus package to go along with the Ranking Factory offer that we're going to show you in a second here. And what we're going to give you is, since most of you deal with either Google My Business or videos, and obviously if you do websites, you know, this is going to benefit you as well. But specifically for those, which are my areas of focus, I'm going to give you the content that you need to make great videos, and I'm going to give you a course on how to improve your GMBs even further. And so what we've got is we've got a package of 71 collections of the 4K videos. Some of you may have a few of these already, but this is going to be collections of 4K video in all sorts of different categories, from different types of animals and locations and people and businesses and cities, and you name it, they're all in there. You're going to have all this great 4K video content. We've got 4K backgrounds that you can use in your videos. And for the first time ever, I'm putting in 4K aerial footage into a bonus package, which I've never given out before. I've sold it before, but I've never given it out as a bonus. But I'm throwing that in there this time. We've also got a huge collection of music that you can use in your videos, as well as sound effects, so you can really start to bring out the real creative side of building videos. And when I talk about music, we're talking, I don't even know how many modules of music, but everything from sci-fi to jazz to hip hop to, you know, whatever kinds of music you can think of, rock beats and you know, acoustic beats and things. We're also throwing in a course that teaches you how to use directories. Now, if you don't know what we mean by directories, when you're doing a Google My Business and you're trying to help a local business, one of the really important things is citations, which we've mentioned briefly in here with some of the stuff we're doing, that you can get citations. Well, citations from places like Yellow Pages and Yelp and all these other directory sites that you may not even have heard of are going to help with that Google My Business listing as well. And so we're going to give you a course that teaches you how to set all of that up so that you've got proper information for your clients or yourself inside all of those properties. And we're going to give you, because I give this away with almost everything that we do, I'm going to give you Motion Docs, which is a collection of agreements and contracts that you can use when you're signing up a local business to work with. So all of that will be included along with everything we're going to talk about right now.
Wow. Okay. I didn't get to go through any of this, so I just got to scroll down, if you guys give me a second, to here. That's because everybody talked too long. Let's see, view. Where'd we go? Open up, open up.
Open up and say, "Ah, that's good."
There we go. Okay, so this is the link right here, and this is where you want to go and to the sales page. Now, one of the other things that we have, which Leon was sharing with you, and I'll put this in the chat, okay? He was sharing with you all those videos that you saw about the Keyword Translation Factory. Now, that is a product that we own, and we don't have time to go through it, but it's free. So everybody here, just go get it for free, and it will help you in all your titles and a lot of your searches, you know, and you know, other things from that perspective. And there's a paid version of that, which is a pro version. And so anybody that buys the paid version and sends us the receipt, Gary and Leon and myself will give you 50% of that money back. Okay. I can't give you a 50% coupon because it's tied up with a developer. So I have to actually have it paid for, and then we will refund that 50% of that money back to you. Okay. It's a pretty awesome tool. And then the other thing is, Gary, just real briefly, tell everybody about the Ultimate Video Ranking course.
The Ultimate Video Ranking course was the backbone behind the original software. It was done in 2014, the case studies for it, when we launched it, I believe in 2015. And we were the WSO of the day, and we were the top person for probably 5 or 6 straight days, and in the top 4 or 5 for the month with that course. So we did real well with it. But it's the foundations behind the course are some of the foundations still behind the software.
Right, and the software was basically developed off of the ideas behind the course, and this is right in line, Ray, with what you guys do with video ranking. And so the ideas and the concepts manually of doing what we're doing with the software, you know, is still helpful in understanding. Like if you know how the engine works and you've taken it apart and you've built one, then when you get to the mechanical part that helps you with it, you understand why certain things are happening, right? And you know, so that's why we have that in there as well. Okay. We're going to also, okay, I've just decided everybody that buys except for the monthly, Ray, we're going to give everybody an extra license, which means they're going to get 2 versions of the Ranking Factory. So one that they can use for themselves, and one that they can have a VA work for, or one that they can, you know, share with their business partner. So, you know, whether they get the single, or they get the VA one, or they get the agency, or they get the lifetime, we're going to give them an extra license on top of each one of those. Okay.
Nice. And somebody was asking on they were confused by the single license. They wanted to know if that means that it's a single use for them, or as far as like using with clients. And what it is in other words, your one computer, you're using it. That's what you're getting with that single. You are the single user of the product. How you use it, that's up to you.
Right. And also we have another bonus. And if you want to buy the single payment or the lifetime, we're going to give everybody a $200 off coupon, right, for
Nice.
you. Okay. So if you buy that one, you just type in RTVG. Anybody want to know what that spells? Represents? Okay.
Rock to the.
Yeah, Ray the Video Guy 200, baby. Put that in there and it'll be a $200 coupon. And if you use Ray RTVG 300, you get $300 off of our combo package, which is tying into another product that we own that is extremely ridiculously retarded when it comes to content, called the Content Factory. And that combo on a single payment, $300 off of that. We're going to also give you that coupon for that, Ray, okay?
Oh, that's fantastic. Appreciate that.
All righty. And I think someone's asking, is there a 3-pay? I think there's a 3-pay on there, and that's 3 monthly fees, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, there should be a 3-pay. I remember seeing that earlier when I was looking, so.
There's no Content Factory monthly. No, I don't think we have that on there, Rafael. But we're concentrating on the Ranking Factory, but the Content Factory, it's ridiculously good for what we're trying to do, because everything that we want to accomplish within the Ranking Factory borders on content. Everybody's got to write content. So we all need good content. So that's why we put that bonus in, not to confuse anybody. But if they do pick up anything else on the Content Factory page, it goes to your link, so you're fine. Okay?
Hey, Patrick, real quick, we got one question on the coupons. Somebody is a little bit confused.
Sure.
Can we put that into the chat?
In the chat? I did put it in the chat.
Oh, let me cut and paste it into the questions for it.
Okay, so that kind of wraps everything up for us in terms of, otherwise we'll sit here for another hour answering questions, but for anybody that needs to leave and go, and we appreciate you coming. We want to give you extremely good value, and if you don't buy anything today, but you learned something, let me ask you a question. Everybody that's here, give me a 1 if you absolutely learned something today that you didn't know before you came. Everybody, I see a lot of 1s. Any 2s? Did you not learn a single thing today? 1, 1, 1, double 1s, triple 1s, quad 1s. Okay, perfect.
I've got a fun little question here. Somebody wants to know, have any of you used it to rank a Facebook page to the top of Google?
No, never tried. But why not? Hey, let whoever comes in and let's try it.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook pages, one of the few things that actually do rank fairly well are Facebook pages. So if you did that, I'm sure it would, just like anything else, it would do pretty good. Very high authority, no doubt about that. So somebody wants to know, does the $300 coupon apply to the 3-pay as well?
No, that would be silly. But thanks for the question.
And let's see. All right, Thomas, appreciate that. That's good. And I apologize. I'm trying to read these, and like I said, I don't have my reading glasses, so it's very hard for me to read this screen right now.
Wait a minute, maybe I spoke too soon. Somebody asked the 3-pay on what? Ranking Factory or the combo for?
I'm not sure. It just says I don't know if there's a 3-pay for both, or what the 3-pack was on that.
John, just connect with me later and I'll figure it out for you.
Hey, Patrick, we got somebody that the coupon code didn't work on the lifetime.
Type in capital RTVG 200.
And I think people are confused because of the different coupons and where they apply.
Okay, the 200 only applies for the single payment for the Ranking Factory. The 300 only applies for the combination of the Ranking Factory and Content Factory.
By the way, if you've jumped in on this, feel free to let us know you jumped in, because we appreciate everybody that does, and we want to be able to thank you. And I know some people have already purchased, so I don't know who they are yet. So we'll hunt you down. But And by the way, for those of you that did purchase, the bonus that I am providing should be when you purchase and you go back to the receipt page, it should be there for you. If you have any issues or you don't see it or you're not sure where to find it, just contact me privately and I'll be able to send the link to you automatically that way as well.
Christopher's asking a question, is a $29.95 in addition to the license? The first month payment includes the upfront of $197, so it's $226 and change. Every month thereafter, it's a mere $29.99 or 97 cents for the maintenance of the software. And I think, Ray, you would agree, $29 a month for this is stupid, ridiculously retarded.
It's a pretty good deal. It's better than a lot of the other deals that I have for things that aren't nearly as useful.
Right.
I'm looking at you, Hulu.
It's RVG, Rafael. Ray the Video Guy.
RTVG, right? Or
Yeah.
just RVG?
Oh, RTVG.
Okay.
What is the content module like? John, if you want to hook me up, I'll do you a quick demo and you can see. It's pretty incredible. RTVG 200. Yes, I'll put it in the chat. Where's the chat? Oh, there's the chat.
And by the way, one question I did see earlier, and I forgot to mention it, about training on how to use the product. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. We have training videos for each of the modules. Let me, Ray, put my quotation marks around everything. This is a beta program. So as we develop things and Google changes things and the videos don't work, we have to redo them, right? Mm-hmm. And so there will be times where, you try to do something and it worked yesterday and it may not work today. That's why we have the Skype group. And you've been in the Skype group, Greg, right?
Yeah, the group is huge. The group, and I don't mean huge in numbers. I mean huge as in it's very, very useful group with a lot of great information and people there to help. So it's very, very good.
Have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, that active?
Only on a few occasions. There's a couple of products that have very good Facebook groups or Skype groups, but it's very rare.
Right. No, John, the training is not available in PDF, and the videos that we create for each of the modules are very short. Okay. In the chat group, Ray, I've given everybody my phone number. How often does that happen? I've given you my Skype. How often does that happen? And my blood type, in case you meet me on the street and I'm dying, you'll know what it is.
That's good. That's really good.
So we're very, very transparent people. We don't hide behind anything. Okay. And if you're having trouble with some of those combinations that are not working, Skype me. Gary and I will fix it. Now, I do want to say, because we are giving everybody, Ray, extra licenses, that we have to create all this manually for them. So please give us, 12 to 24 hours to get everything done and created and links and membership and all of that, because we do have to manually create those licenses for everybody. But I think it's worth the wait to get that extra. You get a whole separate program for free. It's like 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 or whatever, right? So it's pretty cool, pretty good. Mark Cross to automate multi-tier. Macros to automate multi-tier. Ron, I don't know I understand. Sorry. How do I get Google account that will support my Hebrew clients? Ray, what do you think about that one?
You know,
How do I
that's a
get
great
Google
question. I mean, I think as far as doing the program, and maybe Terry would be one that would have a better grasp on this one, but I would think any account should still work. It shouldn't matter because you're just talking about links. So even if you had, you know, even if you were here in America and you had an American account, I would think that it would work just as well. You'd just be pointing to the Hebrew website at the end. So
Yeah. And not only that, using the Hebrew language with the Ranking Factory will give you all relevant Hebrew backlink content, right? For those Google My Business pages there, which we've never really thought about, but it makes sense, right?
yep.
You know,
We did have a person making G sites in Hebrew, and what they found is the content part of it was pretty good. The titles they had a little issue with. They had to manually change those.
but very, very little work.
Yes, very minimal. Very minimal.
It actually did the right to left writing. I mean, it's pretty cool in G sites and for everything else. How can I get Google account that will support my Hebrew clients? That's what we're just talking about. Ashir. Okay. Any other questions? I mean,
You see one here from, it looks like from Sergey. It just says exactly for what offers. I'm not sure what you're referencing there. If you want to specify that, I'm assuming it's a play off of another question from earlier, but I'm not sure which one. And let's see. And I think I'm not seeing any new questions really popping up here. Can this be installed on a VPN? Abso-freaking-lutely.
most of all of ours are.
Yep, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, I have no choice. I have to do it that way, so.
While we're answering questions, is there anybody that wants to see anything else that we went over, or are you good with everything?
Say that again?
I said, is there anybody that wants to see a demonstration of anything else while we're talking, or are we good? Not sure if you covered it. Do you use this to rank lead gen or rank and rent sites?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And rank and rent videos, huge for that. And the great thing is, you know, we talked earlier about the buffer site and how you can change the link and everything. But if you're doing a video, you can change that in the video. So if you're doing rank and rent video, you just do it normally, and then just like you would before, if a client changes, you can change it in the video itself and just point the traffic to a different person, so that you know, it's even easier.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm not seeing any more questions popping up right now. So I'm gonna call it as last chance to post a question. And if I missed one, repost it, because like I said, I'm going blind here and I can't see anything. So
What density of keywords supposed to be in an article? It doesn't make any difference, because remember, these articles that we're creating, the HTML pages that we're creating and putting them on the cloud stack and all that, think of that like Ray shared with you earlier. They're just tiered PBN data, okay? So you're not going to have this, what do you call them, Ray, article penalties or density stuff or whatever. It really doesn't make any difference, because if you guys just understand a single point, and that is, yes, these are all links because they're public and shared, but this is all your private data on your Google hard drive, or on your Google Drive, right? Ray, it's kind of hard to understand, I think, sometimes, right? Because we see rules, duplicate content, we see this, and we see keyword density, and all of that. We're not building websites and having to worry about that. We're just putting stuff on our Google Drive.
And when we talk about the keyword density thing, we're not saying, oh, it doesn't matter, make it as dense as you want. What we're saying is that, with keyword density, you're talking about, SEO for your website itself. When you're trying to rank your website through normal SEO channels, these articles, the whole point of the article is that they have a link in it. I mean, that's really the gist of that whole thing, is the article has a link, and the link is running through it, and it's a high authority link. So as long as it's it's just got to be a regular article. It doesn't have to have rich keywords all over the place and worry about too dense or not dense enough. It's just got to be just an article. Very simple.
Right. Well, look at it this way, Ray. I mean, simply, if you took the sheet stacker or the sheets that we did, and you got 100 links with 100 anchor text on the left and 100 anchor text on the right, you literally have 300 links. And if you put that into a Word document, or i.e. Google document, all of that juice carries through from the Word document once you make it public and share it.
Yep.
Now, if that's not blankety blankety blank blank blank, then what is? But it's on your Google Drive. It's your private property that Google crawls every 5 minutes. It took a long time for me to understand that.
And the one thing that may not have been super clear in this that I do want to reiterate, and again, by the way, when I'm saying this, I'm new to this as well, guys. I don't want you to think that I'm some guru with this, has been doing it for 2 years. I've only been doing this for a very short period of time as well, and would even consider myself still in the learning stages, definitely. But one thing that you need to understand with this is, it also is, we use the word stack in a lot of different ways here, but I want to call it almost like recycled, because you're taking your stuff and you're putting it into Google Sheets, but then you're taking that and putting it into something else, and then you're taking those and you're putting them into another Google Sheets, and so you're doing this over and over again. So by the time you're done, you've got multiples of these Google Sheet things going on. You've got multiples of these calendar things going on, and so it's when we showed you this today, we're kind of showing you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But then you can go back and do step 2 again with the stuff you did in step 3. And then you can do step 2 again with the stuff you did in step 4. And then you can do step 4 with the stuff you just did by putting it back in step 2. And I hope that makes sense. It just builds on each other over and over and over again. So what we did was just a basic 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's a whole lot of other things you can do with that afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah, addressing another question is like, well, if I can get this client, or if I can get that client, or if I could do this and this and this, I'll buy the product. Well, it's kind of like backwards. You should get the product first and then do the work for the client, because you'll guaranteed to get 100% clients if you do the work for them first. Then if you have to try to get them to believe that you're going to do the work and you're going to get the results, and if you do the work first and you show them results, you could get 2 or 3 times as much as they would ever pay you if you just try to get the work first, right? Does that make sense, Ray?
Yeah.
For what we heard? I mean, there should be no problem with every single person in here going out and doing a number 6 GMV for, even if it takes you a month, which it shouldn't, but if it does take you a month to get that up to number 2 or 3 or 1, and go to that guy and say, how much are you willing to pay me? That's the reverse thinking. It's hard to reverse your thinking. Do the work first, get it ranked, get big pay, or try to sell somebody that you're going to do the work, and they're not going to want to pay you much, and then you're stuck because you can't increase your pricing because you did the work and you got them, in that spot anyway. The second way, I prefer to do it the first way. Do the work, get them ranked, and charge them double. Can build this multiple tier be automated? I don't know what that means. A macro language is one way to do it. I don't understand, Ron, because we built everything already into the system, that all you have to do is add your data and your content and do some setup. And let's face it, like Ray said, there are always challenges in setup, right? but we've got videos and everything to help you. We've got VAs to help you. We've got all kinds of things. So we had one guy, Ray, he came on. Gary, are you there?
Yes.
Who's that one young guy that came on one day and 3 days later sent you what?
Tony.
Tony.
Okay. So you
Hold
already
on.
interviewed Tony, right? Right?
What's that?
You interviewed Tony, right?
I sure did, and I'm sure many of you here have probably watched the Tony video this morning.
So it happens, and it happens quite frequently, right? That we had another young guy come in, and he like was pretty new. 3 days later, he had a GMV that was already ranked. And I'm not saying this is going to happen every time because I don't know how hard his keyword was. I don't know what market he was in, right? But you know, he was pretty damn excited that he was able to do that within 3 days. I was excited for him. Okay.
Here's a great question, and I think I hope I understand this one correctly. And oh, now it disappeared. But if the buffer doc is a PDF, can you change the links in the PDF?
100%.
Nice.
But we should clarify that because we're talking about two different things, I suspect. The buffer doc is always a document that you're pointing your juice to, and you're going to keep it as a document for the simplicity of editing one URL. Does everybody understand why?
Yeah. But the same thing applies with the PDF. If you're using a PDF for anything, you can always go in and change that link within the PDF, correct? But what Gary's saying is that we normally don't use PDFs for a buffer doc. We use a
Correct.
Google document. That's our buffer doc. And it works, like Gary's saying, it works better for it that way because all juice, including the PDFs, juice flows to your buffer doc. And then that buffer doc spits all that juice out to all the sites that you want to rank for. And so that's the single place of entry from being able to switch that to the next client if he leaves or you want to change that juice to a different client. Is that what you're trying to say, Gary?
Yes, you can change it on the fly if you have to change clients. It's easier to change one single link and you've got all these properties built than to go try and edit a bunch of work that you've done with properties.
Exactly. Martin, what are you trying? You're saying that the 50% discount doesn't work. If you're trying to do the keyword traffic or translation factory, there is no discount. We have to send you back a cash discount. Does that make sense? There is no discount on the link. How much it reflect after you change the buffer? Well, Ray, like you said earlier when you were speaking, you know, there's still water in the sponge, but eventually what happens, that water dries up. So the juice that we're sending is there. It helped build that build them up, but there's no support. So all of a sudden, it's just going to drop off as soon as that juice stops the funnel, right?
It's just like, you know, in traditional SEO, and I'm not an SEO, so, you know, don't take my advice totally here, but if you think about it, if you've got a website and you've got a bunch of backlinks to that website and some of those backlinks go away, you start to lose some of your progress. And that's what will happen is all of the, you know, if you're supporting John's Google My Business page or John's website with this, and you start pulling away all those links, well, he's going to drop. It's, you know, it may not be a quick drop, it may slowly drop, but it's going to drop, you know, in a couple of days, a couple of weeks. It's going to keep dropping down as they index all those things and go, okay, you know, now these are all pointing here, and somebody else is going to go up and he's going to go down. Plus, on top of that, you're going to be doing so much more each day with the calendars and everything else that the new person is going to be even more powerful than the old person was at that point anyway, because they're going to have everything he had plus all the new stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. Perfect. All right, Ray, man, you're amazing. I've spent a lot of money buying your stuff over the years, and you know, the one thing that I really enjoy about what you do is that, you know, you always stick to the point. You're have a high degree of integrity of what you do and what you offer and what you say. And I can only say that Gary and myself and Leon and Terry, we're proud to be able to share this with you and with your customers, and that, you know, your belief in us to take care of them, you know, which we will, is vitally important to us, and we really do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. And somebody asked a great question here, you know, how much can they charge a client if they're doing this service? And, you know, it's all over the place. There's not a set answer for that. Oh, it's $500, it's $1,000. It'll vary depending upon where you are, how much competition there is. You know, there's a lot of different factors that go into that. I know some people that charge $1,200 a month to clients for Google My Business listings, and I know some that do $300 a month. So it kind of depends on how much you're willing to say you're worth. You know, if you walk in there and tell them it's $500 and they think it's worth it, they're going to do it. You know, if you tell them 800 and they still think it's worth it, they're going to pay 800. So you kind of have to feel out the market a little bit there, I think, as well. You know, obviously, you know, New York City or Los Angeles is going to be a lot more than some small town in Nebraska.
Exactly. But even the small town in Nebraska has DUI lawyers that make thousands of dollars. So, Ray, just in the relationship of the client itself, based on the ROI, some clients are worth more than others. Like a nail salon, you know, how much you really get for a nail salon, right?
Exactly. And one way to factor that in is do research on pay-per-click. You know, in some places, lawyers are paying $70, $80, $100 per click to be on page one with a pay-per-click ad. So just kind of figure that out. Okay, if they're paying $100 a click and they're getting, you know, 50 clicks, you know, what is that worth? You know, I'm not saying you can charge $5,000 a month, but you know that they're willing to pay money, and you can cut it down and figure out what you think that's worth. And for something like a lawyer, the value is in what they're willing to pay. And if they're willing to pay $5,000, $10,000 a month in pay-per-click ads, and you can cut that cost way down for them, they're going to pay you pretty well.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Roofers don't, one of our messages here is roofers don't blink at paying me $1,500 a month.
Yep, I agree.
A restaurant, not a shot.
Oh, figures. That's Gene. Of course, it's Gene.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, just
I was going to mention roofers for that specific reason too.
You know, I mean, one lead from your GMV, why would they not pay $1,500 a month?
Yep.
A lot of people are just afraid to ask.
The great thing about roofers is we always talk about the lifetime value of a client. And for instance, if you're working with dentists, the lifetime value of a client might be $20,000, but it's not going to be $20,000 this week. You know, it might be $80 this week. With a roofer, that lifetime value is right up front, which means that they're willing to pay a little bit more because they know they're going to get it back right away. So that's definitely something to think about. Roofers are a great example for that. DUI lawyers are a great example. Bankruptcy lawyers are a good example of that, even though it's a little bit lower. But those are high ticket, right up front items, so they're willing to pay more for that.
You know what might even be another one that's really, really, really up there, Ray?
What's that?
How about rehab centers?
Yeah, that's definitely one. That's a good upfront price too.
I mean, they get $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000 a pop.
And don't neglect real estate. I know a lot of people. You know, I used to kind of be down on the real estate thing, but real estate, if you get the right realtors, can be a very good market for this kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, be crazy.
You
Right.
just have to find the right ones, because for every 10 realtors, there's only one that's a real player. So you have to figure out who that is, but they will pay for it.
Hey, here's a clue for everybody. When you're looking for niches, watch your TV for the ads and see what's selling on TV,
There you go.
Oh,
particularly for lawyers.
Yep. I know people that they go after class action lawsuit stuff. So they'll see what the class action lawsuit is and rank a video and sell the leads.
yeah. So I mean, we got all kinds of those on our channel. When I actually see an ad, I just TiVo it and don't watch ads anymore. But yeah, for sure, there's no question. So
Yep.
Ray, here's the bottom line, and you can answer this question. If you have absolutely no risk in trying it to see if you can make $500 in the first 30 days, and you know that if you buy it and you have a guarantee that whether it works or not in 30 days, we're going to give you your money back, why wouldn't you try it?
Yep.
I mean,
Put
literally,
in that effort.
why not try it? I mean, I guarantee you that if I ask this question, I get 100% response. How many of you paid or are paying for things you are not using right now? Right? Give me a 1 for those of you that are here. Right? Okay. Yes, yes. Oh, stop. Yes. Double 1, triple 1, 100. Oh, yes. Okay. So, if that's the case, get involved with this. We got a great team. If you don't, I'll tell you what, Ray, for you, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to extend our 30-day money back guarantee to 45 days.
Nice.
Okay. And I've never done, you can ask Gary, I've never done that before. We run the risk of, well, I didn't use it and I want my money back. Well, that's not my fault. There's a lot of people that just admitted they buy stuff and don't use it. I want you to use it because I want you to make some money.
Yep.
Okay. So, this is, you're my witness. It's on tape. We will give everybody 45 days because that's how confident that we are that you will start to use it and start to make some money. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody, let's see. Oh, okay. Can you explain? Somebody's asking what the 50% off is. Can you explain that again one more time?
Yes. If you go to the URL that's on the screen, hopefully you can still see it, for Keyword Translation Factory, it is free. There's no question. You can use it and it's great as a free tool, but there is a paid version. So for the annual, which is $37, or the lifetime, which is $97, I'm going to refund to you 50% of that payment if you upgrade to a pro version. Does that make sense, Ray?
Yep.
Now, somebody asked me if I'm going to send them cash. No, I'm going to give you a refund in your PayPal account.
Bail it out.
Okay. But it's
Mike
really
wants to know.
interesting tool.
Mike wants to know, and I know there's a few different options, so I want to make sure it's clear here because even I don't necessarily know the answer. But is there a 3-pay option for the lifetime, or is that just for the combo?
That's for the combo. But if you need a 3-pay for the lifetime, Skype me and Ray and I will work it out for you.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any other last questions? Let's give everybody 4 more minutes and then we're going to call it a day. Okay.
All right. That sounds good.
What's coming? Okay. So we've got the Blogger that what Leon was sharing with you was the Blogger tool. And that's not really even released to our members yet. We're still in beta version on that one. We also are going to be including here shortly, I think, a plus poster tool that's going to be added to this. And then the last thing, Ray, that we're going to be adding is our super duper, maps version that will probably be selling on the open market for $397 or $497 just for the maps.
That's a wild tool, no doubt about that.
Yeah. And we've got some wild things that we're going to be doing with it that, maybe this guy has, or that one's got a piece of it, but nobody's really aggregated all of this together. And there's a couple things in there that we know that nobody's doing. Okay. So, that's going to be part of the ranking factory. And for people that get in now, like I said, the price is never, ever going to go up. So you're going to be paying $29 a month while everybody else is paying $97 a month.
Nice.
Right. So that's pretty cool. I mean, we're pretty steadfast with that. We want to make sure that, everybody that gets in doesn't have that, you got to upgrade to the new version and pay me another $300. So we don't do that. Cool.
Very cool.
All righty. Any other last questions?
Nope, no more questions. So I think that's a good time to call it quits.
All righty, man. Thank you, Ray. Everybody, thank you for staying.
It's been fun, guys.
Yep. And just so you know, guys, again, when you purchase, if you have any issue, and a couple people have already sent me messages on Facebook saying they got it okay. If you have any issues getting my bonuses, just reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you out with that. Again, they should be right on the receipt page after you purchase. And if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. I've got these guys. I can pass anything along that I don't know the answer to, which is probably most of it. But I'm learning. But pass those questions on to me. I'll be glad to make sure that they get answered for you. But biggest thing of all is you got to take action. And as I always say, everything we talk about here works, but only if you do. And step one is making sure that you get in on this when you got the special deal. And step two is using it so that you can make money back. Because, the main thing is we want you to make more money than you spend. Because guess what? We can't continue to make tools if nobody's making money.
Exactly.
We need you to make money so that we can justify selling a tool. And I say we, and I don't have much of a part of it other than I'm a user, but you get the idea. Guess what? There won't be many updates if nobody purchases. So I want to make sure that there are updates. So you guys need to, get in there and take action and make money so that you're willing to continue to use a product like this. And like I said, I got to interview a lot of people, and I was very, very impressed by the things they had to say and the results that they showed me, and even the results that I've gotten in only just a day and a half. So what else can I say other than that? You got to take action, and it's well worth it, especially if you can get some clients in there.
And we got a couple of people that are saying, I picked up the lifetime. It's not that much more than the 1 year. You're right. We try to make it so that it's affordable for everybody for whatever you want. So, you're not going to see the lifetime 5 times the annual or 4 times the annual. I don't even know that it's double the annual myself, personally. So that's just who we are.
It's like the yearly pass to Six Flags. It's really not much more than going once.
Yes, exactly right. Right. All right, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Mike, awesome. Thank you for joining. Other people that said they picked it up already, we really appreciate it. And looking for, last thing, make sure that you hit me up so that, when you do join, you can either hit me up or Gary up, and Ray can give you our Skype addresses so we can add you to the Skype group right away. Okay?
Yes. Definitely want to be in there.
All righty. All right. Thanks, Raph. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, everybody who showed up. We appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you soon.
Who's typing?
What's that?
Oh, you and I must still be on Skype.
Oh,
No,
that's probably true.
You haven't shut it down yet.
I did shut it